Who's actually going to get the most out of this machine? Who could walk away disappointed? And does the price make sense for someone who just wants a solid gaming PC without breaking the bank? Those are the 3 questions I keep hearing from folks on the forums and in the comment sections of tech videos. If you've been eyeing a pre-built system that promises next-gen performance but you're not sure whether it's a smart purchase, you're in the right place. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you first see the headline for the Andromeda Insights Ultra 50 V2, the numbers are impressive: an RTX 5080, a Ryzen 7 9800X 3D, 32GB of DDR5 RAM, a 2TB Gen4 SSD, and an 850W gold-rated PSU. It sounds like a no-brainer for anyone chasing ultra-high frame rates in the latest titles. But the reality of buying a pre-built isn't just about the raw specs. It's about how those parts work together in everyday use, what compromises are hidden behind the price tag, and whether the warranty and support actually protect you when something goes wrong. Let's start with the kind of gamer who will feel right at home with this rig. If you spend most of your weekend on 1440p or 4K titles like Cyberpunk 2077, Elden Ring, or the newer releases that lean heavily on ray tracing, the RTX 5080 paired with the Ryzen 7 9800X 3D will give you headroom to crank settings up without fearing bottlenecks. In practice, that means you can push beyond 100 frames per second on a 1440p 144Hz monitor while keeping temperatures comfortable enough that you won't hear the fan screaming at night. For streamers who also need to encode video on the fly, the extra cores on the 9800X 3D help keep the gameplay smooth while the OBS overlay runs in the background. The 32GB of DDR5 memory isn't just a marketing buzzword. It actually prevents the occasional hiccup you see when modern games start loading massive texture packs, especially in open-world environments. Now, who should probably look elsewhere? If you're a casual player who mainly does indie games, older esports titles, or you're content with 1080p at 60 frames per second, the Ultra 50 V2 is overkill. You'll be paying a premium for horsepower you'll never tap, and you might find a cheaper custom build that gives you the same experience for a fraction of the cost. Also, the system leans heavily on high-end components, which means the overall price reflects that. If your budget is tight and you're not planning to upgrade your monitor or invest in a VR headset anytime soon, you could end up with money tied up in performance you can't utilize. One practical strength that stands out is the 2TB Gen4 SSD. In real-world terms, that translates to virtually no load screens in most modern games. I've seen players report load times dropping from 30 seconds to under 10 when moving from a SATA drive to a Gen4 NVMe. That speed also helps when you're juggling multiple large games or need to switch between a game and a hefty video editing project. The 850W Gold PSU adds a safety net, especially if you decide to add another GPU later or throw in a bunch of RGB accessories. It's not just about raw wattage. The Gold certification means the unit runs more efficiently, which can shave a few dollars off your electric bill over a year of heavy use. On the flip side, there are a couple of hidden trade-offs you should be aware of. First, the system is marketed with a 2-year parts warranty and a lifetime labor warranty that's US-based. While that sounds generous, the fine print usually means you have to ship the unit back to the vendor for any service, and the turnaround time can be several weeks. If you're a competitive gamer who can't afford downtime, that could be a pain point. Second, the ARGB fans and the overall aesthetic are visually striking, but they also add a bit of acoustic noise under load. In a quiet apartment, the fan curve can become noticeable when you're pushing the GPU hard in a marathon gaming session. It won't drown out conversation, but it's something to factor in if you value a silent setup. Another real-world consideration is the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth module built into the B650 motherboard. In practice, the Wi-Fi connection is solid enough for most online games, but it's not the ultra-low latency of a wired Ethernet. If you're playing fast-paced shooters where every millisecond counts, you'll likely still want a wired connection, which means you'll need to run a cable to the back of the case, a minor inconvenience but worth noting if you're aiming for the cleanest desk layout possible. Let's talk value beyond the headline numbers. The Andromeda Insights brand offers a lifetime labor warranty, which is fairly rare in the pre-built market. For users who are not comfortable opening a case and swapping out parts, that service can be a real peace-of-mind factor. The price point lands somewhere in the mid-high range for pre-builts with similar specs, but the inclusion of a high-capacity Gen 4 SSD and a